Welcome to another episode of Israel Tech. I'm excited to have with me here David Primor, the co-founder and CEO of Cynomi. David, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
All right, so tell us about Cynomi. Everyone that's in cybersecurity in particular, obviously. I do a lot of marketing for cybersecurity companies, and everyone always wants to target the CISO or the person reporting to them. But you have probably more than anyone else I spoke to have a unique approach when it comes to CISOs. What exactly do you do? And tell us a little bit about your relationship with CISOs.
Yeah, so we decided to target the small and medium businesses and mid-market. They usually don't have CISO and relies on other companies like MSPs, managed service providers, and MSSPs, managed security service providers. They're trying to help those small and medium businesses by providing them services. One of the services that we see emerge is the virtual CISO, enabling those companies to have the very important role of the CISO, and we help those companies, the MSPs, MSSPs, cyber consultancies, to be able to provide these virtual CISO services at scale.
Awesome. So how did you get into the whole cyber industry and understanding what CISOs need? So it seems like you have a unique insight into it, but you've never been a CISO yourself, right? So maybe you can tell us, take us back, and what is your story kind of in cybersecurity?
Yeah, it's a long story. I've been, I think, more than 30 years in cybersecurity, or maybe it's not called cybersecurity. So I started my career as in technology in the army of Israel. After doing my academic studying, I'm an electrical engineer by my profession. I was handpicked to be an A200 unit.
Well, can you talk us into that? So you went and you studied engineering.
Yeah.
In high school and university?
It's in university, in the Technion in Haifa, which is considered to be the best institute once. And it was part of what we called academic reserves. So I was convinced to go to study electrical engineering, and then I could join different places in the army. And of course, by then, nobody knows what A200 is.
By then, so we're talking, what, 20 years ago?
Something like that.
Years ago,
yeah.
So it's so secret, you can't even say how many.
Yeah, and I didn't know about A200. And I heard that it's a good unit, and I wanted to be there. And I went to several interviews, and they picked me. So since then, I was spending almost 15 years in the unit.
So 15 years in the unit?
About, yeah.
Wow, okay. So but before you entered the army, you had agreement with the army that you would go study school first and then go to the army. Mm-hmm. Once you finished your schooling, engineering, and then you went to the army, then they selected you, they asked you to interview for 8200.
Yeah, it's a lot of interviews because 8200 picks the best people from the academic reserves and from the teenager from school. So you could get to 8200 either from after studying or being an excellent technology or have the potential to be a great technology or intelligence person. Actually, my daughter is in A200 as well.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Did you get special alumni advantages?
No. I'm a technology and she's intelligence. So together we are a total group of intelligence.
Oh, okay. All right. The family to fear.
Yeah.
So tell us about what it's like when they asked you to come in and work at 8200, interview at 8200. Like, how does that happen? They just walk over to your desk? Do they email you? Do you know anything about that hiring process? And if you can walk us through kind of like what that interviewing is?
They look for potential. They look for high grades, and they want you to be to behave nice, to be social. Mm-hmm. And I guess they have more parameters that they take into account. So nobody told me what to do, but I was fortunate to be part of this great team of 800.
So when people are at 8200, how long do they stay usually?
Usually you have to sign for an extra 2 or 3 years because you are going to have some kind of special studying to be able to do your job in A200. So usually it's about totally 6 years that you are in A200. They convinced me to be a little bit more.
How did they convince you?
8200 is a place where everything is possible. There are lots of challenges, lots of opportunities, different technologies, different goals. And when you are there, you could pick almost whatever you want. There is endless opportunities. So when they find potential and they convince you, okay, why don't you do this thing? I was a nice boy, and I've been convinced.
There you go. And so 15 years you're commuting. Where was your base? Where did you work out of?
In the center of Israel.
Right, okay, got it. And you have to wear a uniform every day, right?
Yeah, of course.
And what are those hours? It's 15 years, it's a long time. And as you got promoted, were there more hours or?
We work hard, very hard. Most of the intelligence for Israel come from this unit, so we have lots of responsibility. So we work hard.
You mentioned to me that you were promoted to lieutenant colonel, right?
Yeah.
What does the lieutenant colonel 8200 do, and how did you become a lieutenant colonel?
Okay, it's a long process. You have to be good in what you are doing. You have to be able to be a commander. I managed about 150 people, technology people, very clever people, which is harder to manage. And it takes you time. First, you become the commander of 3 people, then 10 people, then 20. You have to prove yourself. You have to be a professional in what you are doing, also in technology, and be a commander or a manager.
So, but so maybe walk us through, for those that don't know, what does the day-to-day of your work look like? What did you do every day?
I cannot say, since it's a very high classified work, but actually it's challenge, a project, some system you have to develop, some operation that you need to do, and then think how to do that and do it.
So, all right, so during 8200, you were saying that you were telling me offline that you got your PhD.
Yeah.
At CERN. So one of the things I find actually kind of fascinating, uniquely about the Israeli military, is that they're very supportive of an academic degree, kind of like many in your case. I have a cousin like this too, where she got her degree first and then went into the army. And then even in parallel, the continued learning with academics, not necessarily only through the Israeli Defense Forces. So tell us about hey, you get your master's and your PhD while you're at the IDF.
Yeah.
Are they supportive? Do they force you? Do they say, hey, we need you to study more, go get this degree, we'll pay for it at this university? How does the academics and the army work together?
It's very typical to people or soldiers in 800 unit to take care of the development, and they are very curious. So academic and being and serving in this unit is very typical. So when I finished my electrical engineering, I didn't think that I would like to learn more. I was surprised because I found academics and stuff that I don't know, and I want to study more. So I had the decision whether to study management, MBA, or to go to the second degree in electrical engineering. So finally I decided to do my master degree in electrical engineering. Study about signal processing and more computer vision and things like that, which I found fascinating. So I did it in parallel to work in 800, and they were very supportive. So they sometimes can give you half day or sometimes full day to study.
But did they encourage you to go get a degree, or did you have the right to request and they had to approve it?
Both.
That's confusing. What is that?
Yeah, I had the right to ask for that, and they could approve it or not.
Right.
But I think what is very unique in A200 that the commander, the managers, they want to develop you and want you to be better.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So they ask, do you want to study? Maybe you study this and that.
They do encourage.
They encourage. Yeah.
Do they encourage a specific path? Like, did they specifically tell you more engineering or management, or is it just in general you have more room for development?
Usually what you are doing, I think it's the same in startup and same in enterprise or in A200. You are talking with your manager.
Right.
Think about your development. What is good for you?
Right.
What you want to achieve in life.
So it's more you-centered than how you can give better value to 8200 or to Israel.
It's both. It's both.
Well, they need to go together, right? If not, then there's a conflict.
If you're happy with what you are doing, you are able to stay and spend more years in A200. That's what happened to me. So I guess that the fact that I studied the second degree and then I had the crazy idea of doing my PhD and do a 3 years break in my service, going with my family to Switzerland, to Geneva, live in France actually, cross the border every day to CERN, the big particle accelerator research. For me, it was a great experience. I remember my commander saying, okay, good luck. Although he really wanted me to stay in A200, he said, okay, this is what you want, good luck. And then after these 3 years, they offered me a new job in A200.
Did you reach out to them, or did they keep tabs on you?
They they had some contact me and every couple of months saying how I'm doing, and then when I very close to finish my PhD, they offered me the job. I had to think about whether I want to do some more postdocs in lots of universities at school or in Israel. But my wife wanted to stay in Israel, so it was a good combination of getting a very good job in A200, continue to contribute to my country, do something very interesting, continue developing myself. So it was good. I got my lieutenant colonel by then, and I felt very happy. So I think it was a very good choice. Lots of experiences and special things I did along my service. And maybe the last thing, or the last mile, that I was very fortunate is to be in the point that the government of Israel decided to establish the cybersecurity authority. And this was interesting because there is another role of the Israel Army, or A200, is to help other initiatives in the country, in the state of Israel, to succeed. So they contribute officers from A200 to establish these governmental institutes. So this cyber directorate, or what was called the Israeli Cyber Authority, was actually made by people from the army. Not anymore. Now it's people from the government, but by then, to be able to have the great team to establish that, they offered me to be the leader of technology. And that's what I did for my last role in the army, or actually in the government, for 3.5 years, to be in charge and to establish a startup in the government, from 2 people to 50 people, R&D projects, to protect the authority itself. So I became the CISO, or the head of the cybersecurity protection of the cybersecurity itself. And this was the point that I started to really understand in cybersecurity. Before that, I had a full understanding of cyber in different aspects, full understanding of technology, but establishing the entity that protects Israel, protects the critical infrastructure of Israel, help the civil sector to be more protected. For me, it was like a completely different world and a very unique opportunity to be able to contribute in a completely different way.
Was there a certain moment that you recognized that like, oh, okay, now I understand cybersecurity? Was it something that was revealed to you or you learned or something? Or was there a certain moment?
Yeah. But it was not in the cybersecurity authority. It was a little bit after that or in parallel. I have several friends, CEOs of companies, small, medium companies, and they consider me as the cyber advisor or the expert in cybersecurity. And they call me when they have some attack. And I found myself trying to help them and to see how crap is the situation of Israel companies, mid-market, small, and even enterprise.
Yeah.
And then I saw that there are so many attacks, simple attacks, that cause so many damage. If you only do this one or X, Y, Z, you could be protected.
Right.
But nothing is done. There is no knowledge. And even in very good companies with clever people, they don't know what to do. So I think in that moment, understanding from the cybersecurity authority, the greatest methodology of how to protect a company, and to see the real life in which there is no rules, no knowledge, and the knowledge is out there, but nothing going down. I think this is the moment I understood that I have to do something about that. And it's not in the government, not in the military. It's to establish my own company, Cynomi, to be able to help those companies, small, medium, mid-size, mid-market, to be able to better protect themselves.
So that brings you to Cynomi, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. So which is where we're here in your offices in Tel Aviv. So how did Cynomi really start? You talked about, like, first you figured out helping your CEO friends, and maybe you can tell us about your co-founder, kind of how did your network and the people you knew, you can kind of walk us through how you're able to develop that led you to launching Cynomi.
Yeah, so everything happened by mistake. So you try to pick up the opportunities that you see. So I have a friend that studied in Oxford University, and he had a friend, or has a friend, called Azoulay, and he had a startup by then. Before that, he established the cyber and the software accelerator in Oxford itself.
What year is this?
It was 2019. And he was looking for cyber advisor. And I said, okay, I would like to be in the advisory board. It sounded to me so special for someone from the army to be advisory board. So I agreed, and then we started working together, and I saw that the same thing I realized for small and medium businesses, also in his company, is the same. The lack of knowledge of cybersecurity, compliance, and other stuff which are related to cybersecurity. And then I offered him and talked with him about that, and he said, okay, there is something about that. We should maybe do something to help those companies. And then the idea of establishing Cynomi, a startup that tried to help those companies, came to my mind. So we developed this idea together, and around 2020, we decided that we want to establish Cynomi. Back then, he still was the CEO of his old company, and there was a process till he moved 100% to Cynomi. We started by thinking that we could approach the individual companies and to offer them this virtual CISO offer to help them with a platform, with a software, with a lot of knowledge, a lot of AI to understand what to do. And as you know, every journey is exploration. And we didn't know much about the industry. We target the US market or the UK market, and it's completely different than the Israel market. So you have to try to use all your connection to get to the right people. And you know that in Israel we are a cyber nation. So I have friends from Checkpoint, from other companies, and I told them, okay, do you have some kind of connection to help me to understand something about this US market? Never been there, not know what the hell is going on there. And they helped. And I found myself full of people from X800 or other places that really want to help me to this journey. It's my journey. They don't know the answers, but they could lead me how to find out what the answers are. So try to approach those companies directly, found out it's very difficult. Then understand there are some creatures called MSPs, managed service providers, didn't know them. It's a completely different name in Israel. In Israel, it's like consultant or other names, but not MSPs and MSSPs. So try to approach them, and first magic appears. They found some interest in the demo or in this first product that we...
How did you capture them that made them want to be interested in a demo?
With connections. So, for example, I have a very good friend that is my HR consultant right now. He was head of HR in Checkpoint. Ronen Keller is his name. And he made some connection for me with the people ex-Checkpoint that are leading some MSPs, MSSPs in the US.
So the MSSPs were the way to help you get into the American market.
Several MSPs, MSPs, then going to some events, showing them the platform, seeing there is an interest, improving the product a little bit. So this process of understanding the market and being patient and doing this exploration. I like to explore things in general in life. So you must have a lot of patience and to analyze everything. When you get no, why did I get no?
Right.
How it could be yes in the next time.
Right.
I think it's like marketing.
In a way, it's a lot of testing.
Yeah.
Would that work? Let's try this.
Yeah,
what did we learn? This door won't open.
And I guess in this journey of building a company, every day you understand something new and you try to improve yourself.
Love it.
And to understand what is the role of a product, what is the role of marketing. I've never did marketing in my life, never did sales, and now as a CEO, I'm in charge of sales and marketing. And I criticize my people doing like that, and I don't have this experience, but I learn. Every day I learn. So it's extremely important.
So I get a feeling from you, one of the things that you did that was unique, whether it was to connect with your co-founder Roy in the UK, or finding MSSPs or working your network, is that you ask people for, do you know anyone who's connected to or connected with or can introduce me to? It seems like that's a big component, is just asking. Is that correct?
Yeah, asking and the willingness to help in the Israeli community, startup community,
Right.
help. I think in general, people are the critical component in being a successful startup.
Right.
And for example, I handpicked all the employees in Cynomi, and we have great team. As I told you before, we have equally men and women in Cynomi management team. So our VP R&D, VP product, VP marketing, they're all women and excellent. They give us some really good fight and makes the thinking of Cynomi very special. And I guess this is one of our success reasons.
Yeah, well, men and women have very different approaches. They both have strengths that together you can really learn and do a lot.
Yeah.
I'm seeing that with a lot of other founders I'm speaking to, that they're saying that. So asking, and people really want to help. That's just really fascinating. So now that you're CEO of Cynomi and you're more connected with MSPs and MSSPs, are you now, what are you doing individually to like help other maybe younger people that want to be founders, or they already have their founding company that they need those intros? How are you able to now pass that forward to other people in Israeli tech or in cyber, and specifically to open doors for them? What are you doing now to help others?
Yeah, so I'm open for conversations to help them, to consult them. I help VCs that I'm connected to understand what are good companies.
What's that like? That's interesting to me. You consult VCs to help them understand what? The technology, the individuals, or can you walk us through a little bit of that?
Yeah, of course. So after you are you succeed to get some investment from your investors, they continue to invest, they continue to look for good companies.
Right.
And they look at the portfolio as the best recommenders from new companies. So I'm trying to do my best to see and to evaluate the right companies for them. So, but this is helping the venture capitals to pick the right companies. However, if there is anyone that try to ask me what to do, where to start, and what are the big questions that I should ask before starting this very challenging journey to establish a startup. It's difficult. Lots of no's, sometimes yes. Always saying that you have to have about 5 balls up in the air to be able to catch one. One is enough, but you need 5 because if you have only one, it will fall.
Right.
So many disappointments, so many smile moments.
Right.
So it's you have to be ready. You have to ask the right questions, and you must be in a way ready to do this journey. So when I talk with people that are saying, okay, I want to be startup, to be in a startup, to establish a startup. So I ask them, do you know exactly what you want to achieve? Do you really want to do it? Do you have this passion with your body, with your soul? And if yes, go for it. And if you are still hesitating, it's so difficult. So make sure that you are ready.
But how does one know they're ready? You don't, right?
You know it in your heart.
You know it, right?
Yeah. People ask me if I enjoy it or why do I work so hard. So for me, Cynomi is like a baby. It's my baby. You don't when you have a baby and you came out at night, you don't ask yourself, okay, I'm not sleeping good enough. I have to do that because I like it.
Right.
So for me, helping Cynomi to grow, learning, finding the right people, participating in these marketing events, it's so important. It gives me some strength, and I feel enjoyment. And I think this is the thing that should burn in every entrepreneur in his heart, to understand that this is a difficult journey.
Right.
You must take this company, Cynomi, very small, to succeed, to make it bigger and bigger and bigger, to have a lot of struggling and hopefully to succeed.
Let's talk about your baby that you're trying to grow and get it to succeed, right? So how do you determine like who to hire, a little bit of your hiring practices, and then for a bit, and then talk us a little bit about this virtual CISO. Why wouldn't someone want a CISO in-house, right? As a marketer, there's a thing called like CMO as a service. It's like outsource CMO in a sense. And there are pros and cons, of course. I was wondering if those are similar to like the virtual CISO kind of thing, because you're not in-house, but you're not, but they're also serving other companies, which there's an advantage because they're exposed to more. On the other hand, are they distracted? So how does that work exactly?
Yeah, so you are like all journalists ask me two questions. First is how to find the right people.
And then something totally not related.
And then completely different one. Okay, so I'll start with the first one.
I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult that go in journalism.
No, you know, we are talking about what happens now in Israel, and all the journalists ask Bibi two questions because they have the possibility to ask two questions.
Oh, right, because that works. So okay, got it.
Okay, so for the first question, how do I pick people?
Yeah.
I'm trying, because we are still small,
right.
I try to find people that I know.
Right.
And the best people that I know, or the best people that are known by someone that I know.
Right. They say 70% of hires in general in America is from someone you know. It's they don't even see the job description.
Yeah.
And I know this too, like the top tech companies here in Israel that are hiring marketers, they ask me, hey, do you know anyone for this, or do you know that? And you privately pass it around, they don't find anyone in a month, then they'll open it up a little bit more publicly.
Yeah, so it will be no surprise for you that half of the people in Israel, maybe more than half, are either from 800 of the cybersecurity authority. So people that worked with me, we worked good together, and this is the people in Israel. We have also a team in the UK, and we have a team in the US. And in the US, it's someone that I work with, Israeli, that did his previous role in other cybersecurity startup, and then hiring new people that he knows. So it's still people we know. In the UK, the same. We are trying to bring people that we know, but in some point, you cannot do it anymore. So we have to do this all procedures of 10 interviews and exams, etc., etc. So this is more complicated. And for your second question.
Yeah, which I totally pivoted.
Yeah.
So the vCISO, so the virtual CISOs, like.
Yeah.
Did you think it was going to be a good idea? It was from the beginning when you were like, okay, we're going to be virtual CISOs. Or did it something else and it transitioned to that? Did you stumble upon
virtual CISO is some kind of misleading words.
Yeah, I agree.
Why? Because virtual is considered to be something which is virtual, not real.
Right.
But in the industry, virtual CISO is the same as CISO as a service. So there is someone physical which call himself, I'm your virtual CISO. So I'm giving you CISO services from outside to your company.
Like a virtual assistant. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's a person, but it's virtual.
But when we create our virtual CISO platform, it's actually both ways. So it's also help the virtual CISOs to be much better because we save them time, we provide them standardization, we help them to get the knowledge, we help junior staff to do these clever things like very professional CISOs. But actually what we are doing, using algorithms, using AI, we are like a real virtual CISO. So it's sometimes confusing, but we feel good about that. Personally, I like to be vague, so we are virtual.
I couldn't tell. Whenever I ask you about your career at 8200.
Yeah. So we are a virtual CISO platform, help virtual CISO to do it in a virtual way.
Got it.
Okay.
Do they understand that so well? It sounds hard to.
No, for them it's very, very specific.
Right.
So
give me a stereotypical example.
Yeah. So we see that there is a very big trend for SMBs and for MSPs and MSSPs, cyber consultancies, etc., to provide these CISO as a service services. Why? More compliance needed, for the SMBs and mid-market, also from enterprise that don't have this cybersecurity practice. More and more cyber attacks. Okay, more than 50% of those companies are being attacked every year. Cyber insurance, you want to get to be insured, you must demonstrate that you are secured. How to demonstrate it? It's not an easy stuff to do. And of course, third-party risks. So if you want to do business with bigger companies, they send you a questionnaire. They want to make sure that you are protected, because if you're doing business with them, they want to make sure that they are protected. So there are many vectors that makes this world very complex, and the need for cyber consultancy is bigger and bigger. And that's why MSPs, MSSPs, cyber consultancies would like to give these companies more services, virtual CISO services. However, it's difficult to do. There are lack of talent. Not many CISOs out there, and the CISO is going to big enterprise. So even if I'm an MSP and MSSP, understand there is a demand for virtual CISO services. Maybe if lucky enough, I could find one CISO, two CISOs, and they could provide maybe services to 10 companies. But
But how? How is it possible to give service to 10 companies?
Oh, because those companies, they don't need a CISO every day. They need partial CISO. So
Right.
1 day, 2 days, maybe half a day, a
Right.
week, I
Right.
mean. So
What do the virtual CISOs do then if they're working, let's say, a day a week?
okay, so first the virtual CISO or the CISO, they try to understand the current situation of the company, the posture of the company from cybersecurity perspective. What are the gaps of this company, and what they want to achieve? What are the risks? And then how to build a plan. What to do tomorrow, what to do next week, what to do next quarter, in order to be better protected, in order to be compliant, in order to demonstrate the insurance that I'm secured enough. So it's complicated. So after this first assessment, understanding where this company currently stands, then to build this plan and to try to implement it, to enforce, to help the board of directors to understand where the gaps, to help them to do the awareness training, to help them to understand which tool to use, to see the improvement over time, to understand the next goal. So this is the role of the CISO. Mm-hmm. It's a collection of processes, people. You have to convince the board, you have to convince the IT to do whatever they have to do in order to be better protected, and of course to use different tools. So we in Cynomi, we are trying to bring this knowledge of how to do the assessment, how to create the perfect plan, how to assist you, I mean the CISO, the virtual CISO, to do the best thing he could to save time, to create these reports, to create the right documents for the board, to help the virtual CISO and the companies to pick the right tools, the right processes in order to be better protected.
How do they know though, like that they're doing the right thing or what's in their best interest? Not that there's any bad interests, of course, but every company is different. Mm-hmm. And don't they need someone to help communicate internally to represent the company to the virtual CISO, to help them achieve their goals, to know what they don't know? Because sometimes they could make suggestions that may not be in the order of the priority, or may not be worth their budget or their time or whatever the resources that they have. Don't they need someone internally to properly manage that? Like, who do they work across of if they don't have anyone security related internally?
So you're completely right. It's very challenging and complex job to do. You must ask the right questions. You must understand the business, understand the risks. So if, for example, you are one day in a company, maybe it's enough. If you're half day in a company, maybe you should have your colleague in the company that helps you answer all the question and help you to do it. So it's a combination of people, of this virtual CISO outside the company, and maybe the IT or the other people inside the company that works with this virtual CISO. So this engagement or relationship is very important.
So you get much of your business through MSPs and MSSPs,
Yeah.
right? So how does that work exactly? They're working with a company, an SMB is working with an MSSPs, or an MSP, they're providing them some other services.
Mm-hmm.
Do they then request, hey, we need someone else with security? Or you also alluded to earlier that people don't know what they don't know, and they don't know that they have security issues, that they even need one. Does the MSSPs push Cynomi suggest Cynomi or other solutions on them? How does that work? How do you grow and expand through your MSPs and MSSPs?
Yeah. So it's important to understand what we in Cynomi we offer these MSPs and MSSPs. We offer them to be able to provide this service, this virtual CISO service, CISO as a service, to the different portfolio or new customers. It could be SMBs, it could be mid-market, right. And it's sometimes huge company that need the help. How we do that? In our platform, we have a lot of knowledge. We have the right way to ask questions, how to create policies. We talked about the nature of company. Every company is different from other company. So we understand the profile of the specific company and make a tailor-made strategy for each company. Helps the virtual CISO to understand what is the strategy of this specific company and what are the prioritizations for helping those companies to be better. So how to create the perfect plan. Imagine that you have 500 tasks that you could do, and you have only the ability to do 10 tasks this quarter. Which 10 tasks to pick? This is very difficult question, and we see that in lots of companies. You ask your friend, okay, what should I do? Okay, you should use SASE because it's a trend, or you should do a password manager or awareness training with this tool, or hundreds of things that you could do. But you have a limited time, limited budget. What should I do next? So we are helping those CISOs to understand what are the priorities, what is the right thing to do for this specific company, what are the risks. And since we save them a lot of time in understanding, asking questions, having the reports, generating whatever we can with generative AI and algorithms, we save them time. And when we save them time, one virtual CISO could not serve only 5 customers. You could serve 20 customers.
They actually scale back their hours as they're with the CISO.
Yeah, so the economic of scale. So, and this is bring me back to our vision that every company should have a CISO or a virtual CISO. So we help those MSPs, MSSPs to be able to provide this virtual CISO at scale. So all the companies, all SMBs, all mid-market companies, all enterprise that don't have this practice, they could enjoy much better cybersecurity, because the key, from my perspective, to a good cybersecurity is to understand what you should do and prioritize. And this is the key thing, and if you know how to do it, the rest is much more easier.
Amazing.
Write the right decisions and then implement. The implementation is easier than making the right decision, because if you're making a wrong decision, you will implement something which is not the highest priority.
So what are the first 3 things, let's say, if you were to come and help an SMB, right, that you would say, okay, these are the first few things you got to get in order? Because they're generally speaking, so if basically if you're an SMB listening, or if you're investing in SMBs, like what are the main things that they should get in order for
Yeah, so let's not talk about SMBs, let's talk about companies in general that don't have a CISO.
Right, okay.
So I think, and maybe I'm not so popular,
That's
but
fine.
I believe
Either
in, yeah. So first, you must have some of the executives in the company that understand that cybersecurity is important.
Okay.
Because if you don't have any support from management,
right,
you will not have anything.
That's what I was saying earlier. Who's going to advocate internally for for your product and all that? And who's going to work across the CISO? You need someone to advocate.
Yeah. So this is the first thing. Someone from the executive to understand that cybersecurity is important. Second, you must have somebody in the company that's responsible for cybersecurity. He could use external virtual CISO,
right?
But you must have someone within the company to understand, to help, to assist, to care about cybersecurity. And the third thing, it's can I add 4?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
You go 5.
Okay. So I think awareness is very critical. So people in the company understand that cybersecurity is important, not to do all these mistakes of phishing and stuff like that. And if I have to pick, so we talked about people with these executives, we talk about processes and awareness. And I think if I have to take one tool that could extremely help is multi-factor authentication. And of course, there are so many others like antivirus and the email protection and so many. But what I see, if you implement it, the multi-factor authentication right, so many attacks will be avoided. So if you have to pick one,
multi-factor.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So you talked a lot about people, and a lot of conversations I've been having with other founders, such as yourself, that the Hamas atrocities and the massacres has affected them. Some have lost, had people murdered in atrocities, some in reserves right now. Has it affected Cynomi in any way at all?
As you know, I've been many years in the army, in the intelligence, and I felt that I must contribute to this war. So I've been about 60 days in the reserves, trying to do my best.
Did they call you, or did you say, hey, how can I help?
I said, hey, can I help?
Were you already released from reserves?
No, but in a completely different unit. So I went back to intelligence saying I want to help, and they, in 2 hours, they found me a job.
So Israeli. Wait, who do you call? Who do you contact with all the craziness going on?
My friends.
Your friends. It always comes down to your friends. You had friends that were actively in the army.
Friends that actively were in reserves in some units that I knew that I could contribute to. So I call them and say, oh, yeah, we need a commander at night for night shifts. I'll say, oh, okay.
Sure. Can the day go at night?
So I moved to a different place, which I cannot talk about. And I stay there doing my night shifts, trying to sleep 5 hours, and then to do some Cynomi stuff, and then to the night shift and Cynomi stuff. Wow. So it was really, really hard. Together with me, one of our management team was in the intelligence as well.
As also told you, culture reserves, yeah?
Yeah, also from A200,
right.
So it's all connected. But since we are very well distributed, we have a sales team in the US, we have a development team in the UK, and we have women managing the company, the R&D and the product, etc. So for us, it was, I would say it was well managed. Roy, my partner, who lives in the UK, took charge and actually managed Cynomi when I was in the army. So it was okay. Actually, we had the best quarter from sales perspective.
So when are you going back to reserves?
So my family is telling me, okay, you should go somewhere else.
Right.
Let the company be continue without you. Joking. Yeah. I cannot let my baby go.
No. Yeah, right, exactly. And so, has it been hard for your team to adapt? I guess your co-founder just took on more of the CEO responsibilities, and you redistribute it. Did it slow down any of your services that you were doing for clients or anything at all?
We saw a lot of support from our customers and partners from the US and UK. So we didn't see any partners that saying, okay, this bad situation, we don't want to continue the engagement, etc. We got a lot of supportive messages in all media,
right.
WhatsApp, LinkedIn, mails, etc. We got more opportunities from companies that want to help us, but we had less people to do that. So if I contribute to sales, the other people from the management, he's doing sales. So we all had to work harder.
Yeah.
And
you know what I learned? Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
I just find it so fascinating. Just like, I always have obviously, I think a lot of great things are going to come out of our response to this war. And one of the amazing things is how we really help each other. But what I'm seeing is what you're saying, and a lot of conversations I'm having, is that people are learning and adapting to other skills while other people are in reserves. People are filling in for other people. People are now exposed to more people within the team, within different departments, are speaking to clients, maybe if they weren't, maybe if they and I think the whole ecosystem is going to be elevated based on what they were exposed to, not just new technology, new people, new departments, new skills. And I think we'll see that feedback into the ecosystem, into Cynomi.
Completely. I will tell you a story about Jonathan. Jonathan is a SDR that lives in Ashkelon. And as you know, Ashkelon has a lot of missiles, and it's very difficult to manage calls. And he has to do so many calls every day.
Right.
So he put Wi-Fi in the shelter, and he started to work in the shelter.
Right.
So he will be able to continue working. So, and for us, it was fully understandable. If he decided to stop working and be with his family, he has a baby, but he decided to continue contributing to Cynomi more than ever, even coming from Ashkelon to Tel Aviv to be with the people. So that's the people we have here in Israel in general and in Cynomi. So I think that's what we see during this terrible war, that you are proud of the citizens here in Israel.
That's amazing. Help come together.
Yeah.
Everyone's been affected.
Yeah.
What are your plans for this year coming on? Now that you've returned from reserves, and hopefully we're trying to find an equilibrium. What are you doing? What are your plans for this year?
So it will be a very exciting year for Cynomi. We had an excellent last quarter. We are going to our next round,
Nice.
And we are going to have a significant growth in Cynomi.
Awesome. So, how much are you going to raise?
Oh, I cannot tell you. It's like 800.
When you expect to raise?
I guess it's end of Q1, starting of Q2.
Okay, so it's basically a done deal.
Yeah.
Got it. Awesome. And so
no, it's not a done deal.
I know, but it's basically usually when someone says in like another few months, it means that you're already talking in the talking stage.
No, we will start the talking stage
at
the end of Q1 and starting of Q2.
Okay, got it. So you'll start to look for funding. And what's your goal to do with that funding? Because you said you want to grow.
Yeah. So that's why the excitement is coming.
I seen you smile.
Yeah. So we want the sales team in the US significantly grow. We want to establish the UK sales team as well. And of course, our R&D and product will be at least double.
Very nice. What percent of your funding will go to R&D? How much will go to marketing and sales?
We are still in calculation of our budget, but it will, I guess, equally goes.
Awesome. Terrific. And within these hiring, I'm just curious, why not any interest in hiring salespeople in Israel? You said the person in Ashkelon was terrific. So I was wondering why specifically is it that important to be in those local markets?
We see the difference in hours very significant.
Yeah.
So in the US, we'll probably have the team there. I guess we have some people in Israel, but in Israel, the management will be together with research and cyber expertise. And we are working remotely. So the development is all over the world.
Right.
Lots of people in UK, we have in Moldova, we have some in India. I think one of the benefits or the strength of Cynomi is to be able to work remotely. So we can pick anyone,
right.
Any place. The question is, what are the main benefits of Israelis? So I will pick them and work with them in Israel.
Got it.
So I guess the creativity, research, understanding in cyber, and things like that. And I guess sales and marketing, there are many people, and if I want to market to do some marketing in the UK, I guess people in the UK are better than people in Israel. So, but I like good people, and if you know some excellent people that would like to do anything.
That's how it happens,
yeah.
And you're seeing it on camera. Because you ask, who do you know? How can you connect me? And that's how things happen.
If you are excellent, come to Cynomi.
There you go.
It's the best startup in Israel right now.
I think if there's a better way to end, I think it's that. Thank you so much, David, for your time. Make sure to give Israel Tech a follow, and we'll put Cynomi and David's contact information, anything to reach and to stay up to date in Cynomi. And thank you for your time.
Thank you.